Welcome, friends, and thank you for joining us for this special tribute. Today, we remember a woman whose voice made us laugh, whose presence made us feel seen, and whose grace reminded us that true greatness often wears the softest smile. This is a celebration of Dame Patricia Routledge, the legendary actress, singer, and performer who gave the world some of its most cherished characters, and whose passing in October 2025 marked the end of an era, not just for British television, but for all who believe in the power of performance, warmth, and wit. She wasn't loud about her fame. She didn't chase the headlines or the gossip columns. Patricia Routledge simply lived a life of purpose, talent, and kindness, and through that quiet excellence, she became unforgettable. Born Patricia Katherine Routledge on February 17, 1929, in Birkenhead, Cheshire, England, she grew up in a post-war world where hope and hardship existed side by side. Her parents, Catherine and Isaac, were ordinary, working-class people who believed in education, faith, and hard work. From the beginning, young Patricia showed a curiosity for words and a fascination with stories, qualities that would follow her through life like a second heartbeat. At Birkenhead High School, her teachers quickly noticed her gift for speaking, reading, and performing. There was a poise about her even then, a sense that she didn't just say lines, she felt them. Later, at the University of Liverpool, she studied English language and literature, a choice that grounded her deeply in the rhythms of speech and the beauty of storytelling. She often said that her understanding of character came not from observing people first, but from reading them, through Shakespeare, Dickens, Austen, and the playwrights who gave emotion structure. After university, she joined the Bristol Old Vic Theatre School, a step that transformed her from an admirer of drama into a true craftswoman of it. It was there that she learned the fundamentals of voice control, diction, presence, and discipline, the same foundation that would later make her one of Britain's finest actresses across both stage and screen. Her professional debut came in 1952 at the Liverpool Playhouse, the same city where her love of language had been born. And for Patricia, that first curtain call wasn't a moment of triumph. It was a moment of purpose. She didn't see acting as a way to be famous. She saw it as a way to serve, to interpret the written word, to bring emotion to life, to remind people of themselves through story. For decades, she poured herself into theater, into Shakespeare, Ibsen, Chekhov, and the classics that test the endurance and empathy of true actors. But it was her musical ability, her strong, classically trained voice, that added another layer to her artistry. Patricia Routledge could sing with precision and soul. In the late 1960s, she crossed the Atlantic and made her mark on Broadway, where her performance in Darling of the Day earned her the 1968 Tony Award for Best Actress in a Musical. She was radiant, witty, sharp, the embodiment of the British stage presence Americans adored. Back home in Britain, she continued to conquer the stage. In 1988, she won the Olivier Award for Best Actress in a Musical for Candide, another reminder that her versatility was unmatched. She could make audiences weep in a tragedy, laugh in a farce, and hold their breath in a soliloquy. But perhaps her greatest gift wasn't just range, it was honesty. There was nothing artificial about her performances. Whether she was playing a queen, a detective, or a fussy social climber, she inhabited the truth of that role completely. Then came 1990, the year Patricia Routledge became immortalized in comedy history. It was the year that the BBC first aired Keeping Up Appearances. And with it, the world met Hyacinth Bucket, or as she insisted, Bouquet. The character was a creation of writer Roy Clark, but it was Patricia who gave her breadth, nuance, and brilliance. Hyacinth was a social perfectionist, obsessed with class and appearances, endlessly trying to climb the social ladder, often with hilariously disastrous results. But what made her iconic wasn't just the comedy of her pretension, it was the humanity Patricia infused beneath it. She gave Hyacinth a soul. She made her someone we could laugh at and still, somehow, care for. In every exaggerated line, there was vulnerability. In every pompous gesture, there was longing. Hyacinth wasn't evil. She was human. She just wanted to belong. And that, Patricia believed, was the secret to her success. The show ran for 5 seasons, from 1990 to 1995, and became one of the BBC's most beloved sitcoms, airing in over 60 countries and translated into multiple languages. Decades later, keeping up appearances still brings comfort to families who watch reruns. Its humor timeless and its warmth intact. But Patricia Routledge wasn't defined by one character. After Hyacinth, she showed her dramatic depth in Hetty Wainthropp Investigates, where she played a determined and sharp-witted amateur detective. It was a complete departure from comedy, yet her portrayal was just as magnetic. She proved, once again, that the greatest actors aren't confined to genre. They live truth in any form it takes. Through her long and illustrious career, Patricia earned nearly every honor imaginable. She was appointed OBE in 1993, CBE in 2004, and in 2017, she was made a Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire for her services to theatre and charity. But even those accolades couldn't capture the measure of her influence. What truly defined her wasn't the titles, but the way she carried them, with quiet dignity, humility, and grace. Offstage, Dame Patricia was gentle, intelligent, and deeply private. She never married, never courted fame, and never sought the chaos that so often surrounds celebrity. She lived for her craft and for the quiet beauty of ordinary life. She adored music, literature, and her church community. Friends and colleagues often said she possessed a serenity that made her presence calming, even off camera. She gave her time to causes she believed in, supporting theater programs, literacy initiatives, and faith-based charities. Her generosity was consistent, quiet, and genuine. When she spoke in interviews, she did so with thoughtfulness and precision. She once said, "Acting isn't about showing off. It's about telling the truth beautifully." That sentence may well be the motto for her entire life. On October 3rd, 2025, Dame Patricia Routledge passed away peacefully in her sleep at her home in Chichester, West Sussex. She was 96 years old. Her family confirmed that her death was peaceful, surrounded by love, and though no cause was publicly disclosed, it was clear that her final days were gentle, much like her spirit. Her passing sent waves of grief and gratitude across the world. The BBC paid tribute, calling her a national treasure whose talent spanned comedy, drama, and music with equal brilliance. Actors she had inspired shared messages of love, recalling her generosity, her mentorship, and her sense of humor. Fans filled social media with clips of her performances, that iconic voice echoing once more through living rooms around the world. It was a reminder that while her physical presence was gone, her art, her laughter, remains eternal. What made Patricia Routledge so special wasn't just her skill. It was her truthfulness. She never played a part she didn't believe in. She never delivered a line she didn't feel. Every moment was infused with integrity, and that authenticity gave her work longevity. It's why people still quote Hyacinth Bucket today, why fans still revisit her performances decades later, and why her name carries not just fame, but affection. She had the rare gift of making people feel at home. When you watched her, you felt seen. You felt joy. You felt safe. And in a world that often moves too fast, that's a rare kind of magic. Beyond the roles, she leaves behind a lesson in living. That kindness matters, that humility shines brighter than ego, that laughter can heal, and that true artistry never demands attention, it earns it quietly. Dame Patricia Routledge's story is one of dedication, faith, and purpose. From the small theaters of Liverpool to the grand stages of London and New York, from humble beginnings to damehood, she lived with gratitude. She gave everything she had to her craft, and in doing so, she gave generations of people joy. Even now, her laughter lives on, that unmistakable mix of sophistication and silliness that made Hyacinth Bucket one of the most loved figures in television history. But more than that, her example endures. She showed that you can be brilliant without arrogance, famous without forgetting who you are, and legendary without ever shouting about it. For every aspiring actor who believes that artistry should serve the soul, not the ego, Dame Patricia Routledge remains a guiding light. And for every fan who ever smiled at one of her lines or found comfort in her gentle humor, she remains family. In the end, perhaps her greatest role wasn't any she played on screen or stage, but the one she lived, that of a woman who brought light wherever she went. Thank you, Dame Patricia, for the laughter, the wisdom, and the grace. Thank you for showing the world that true comedy is compassion in disguise. Thank you for reminding us that life, like performance, is richer when lived with honesty and heart. As we say goodbye, we know your voice will never fade. It will echo in every home that laughs again because of you, and in every actor who finds courage in your example. Rest peacefully, Dame Patricia Routledge. The laughter you gave us will last forever. And to all watching, thank you for joining us to celebrate her remarkable journey. If her life, her work, or her spirit touched you in any way, take a moment to share this tribute and pass her legacy on to someone else. Because legends like her don't truly leave us. They simply take their final bow, leaving the stage brighter than they found it.